Well, good morning, everybody. You are live. You are on today on this property tour. We're so excited for you guys to be on. My name is Scott Buckholz. I am your host for the property tour. We also have Yas Hakan as well, our co-host. Guys, we do these property tours every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, as we're a national community of investors, and we love to share our community members' deals, and they love coming out, meeting the community, sharing what they're doing, sharing the particular strategy of real estate investing that they're doing. But it's so exciting that you guys took an hour out today to get on. We hold these to an hour. We want to respect everybody's time, and I know Keith and Leafay have a lot to share. Again, welcome on, guys. My name is Scott Buckholz. I'm a full-time real estate investor. I've been a part of this community for over 6 years now, and just honored and privileged to introduce Keith and Leafay to you guys today. We would like to keep everybody on mute if you could, please. But we do have an open chat room, so as the property tour goes along and you would like to ask questions, please do in the chat room and we'll address those questions. So without further ado, I'd love to bring Keith and Leafay out. You guys ready to jump on?
Yep, we're here.
Okay, we see you, Keith.
And Leafay's at the property.
Okay, we'll get to see her shortly. That's awesome. Well, Keith, it's really cool for you to, come out today and take an hour out of your guys' day on a Saturday to share what you're doing. These property tours that we do every Saturday, we always have a mix of different folks that are attending. We have folks that are already a part of our community that may be doing deals already. We might have folks on that have just got started and haven't done their first deal yet, and they're looking at getting started. And then we have guests on. We've got people that someone has thought enough of that have invited them out to check us out, to come on to the property tour, see deals are really being done. And, earlier we had people typing in what city and state they're from because we're a national community. I'm right here in Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky. You're over, do you live in Virginia?
Yes. Yes.
So you're in Virginia, you're like 11 hours from me. And so it's really cool that we get to do it. But let's introduce you if we could, because you're going to have folks on today that do not know who Keith and Leafay are. It's always cool to kind of share like a little bit of your backstory and why you decided to get into real estate investing. And the other thing that I always find very important is why you chose or why you got connected with this group. And so go ahead and take it over, Keith, and then we'll let Leafay jump on as well.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. First of all, Scott, thank you for allowing us to be able to do this. If it wasn't for you to have this platform, we wouldn't be able to share what we have learned over the process. But to really get to what you were saying is, first of all, Keith and Leafay Jones in Northern Virginia, both military retirees. So our journey started, believe it or not, before we actually started dating. We was talking, and I was talking about real estate when I was first joined the military, and she was talking about designing houses. So right then and there, we kind of made the connection, and then we started talking a little bit more, and then we decided to get married. So I did over 24 years. My wife did over 25 years in the military, and we have two awesome boys. Both are in college. Actually, one's with her on site, so he's definitely helping out when it comes to this. And we always wanted to learn about real estate investing. So what happened with me was, as we always kind of say, well, I'll get to it, or I'll get to it. As I kept saying that, I didn't realize that time kept going by. And then 20 years went by and I didn't technically really do anything in real estate investing. I dabbled in it, but I didn't truly get involved. I'm one of those type of person who got started with like tapes. I don't know if you've done that, VHS. So
wait a minute, whoa, time out. VHS, you're not old enough for
VHS. Trust me, I was there. I was that guy in the library who would go get those books and then read it and then go back and say, wait a minute, I didn't understand it. And I go back, think the book's going to say something different, but it didn't. And so I kept putting it off. And then I did get started in what we call tax lien. So I dabbled in that because I knew that I can do that. And I just wanted the money, the interest off of that. And so that was my like really kind of like so-called investing, but I really wasn't, because I really didn't want the property because I was all over the place. And plus, I didn't have anybody to kind of like hold my hand. A group of community like this where I can see how things are done, ask questions. And so as I was getting ready towards the end of my career, as I knew I was about to retire and had a very successful career, I realized there was one piece that was missing. And that was the one thing we talked about back in 1997 about real estate investing. So Leafay and I kind of sat there and I said, you know what? Why we really wanted to do it is for our kids. We'd done very well, in the service, but we didn't have anything tangible to kind of pass down to them. Now we were at that point, I was like, neither one of my boys is going to join the military. So I was like, let me really start to dive. And so one Saturday, we just decided to just jump up out of the bed and looked online. We saw a meeting just like this, like you talked about. Somebody invited them and we went down and sat down at the meeting. And from that standpoint, my why of what I wanted to do real estate investing and the information that was being shared, those two matched. And I mean, it was just powerful. Leafay and I looked at each other and we says, hey, this is it. Let's go for it. So that's kind of like how our background.
Well, that's awesome, Keith. So you found our community. You saw maybe something online that said, "Hey, there's a real estate investing meeting going on," and you both just said, "Let's go do it."
Yeah.
You took action. You took action, which is so darn important. I do want to say something real quick. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for your service, both you and Leafay, to our country, and I really appreciate that. And so as your journey goes on, you're both retired military. You get started. How long ago did you get involved in the community?
So we got started in 2018. That was what I was looking at. That was 2 years right before I retired. My retirement date was in 2020.
Excellent.
Yeah, right before the pandemic. So we was like, you know what, let's go ahead and do this. And we did. And we went down and we sat down with Umair and Yaz, and we kind of just went through the information. We drilled them. We asked all kinds, as military people, we get down to the details and we would just ask them questions, right? But they were just genuine and says, hey, here it is. And we kind of looked at it. It was like the only person that was stopping us was us.
That's awesome. Well, I love to share or have Leafay jump on real quick. We'll switch over to her screen. Leafay, you want to come on?
Well, yeah, I do remember the day that we were sitting down with Umair, and I literally had about 50 questions that I had written down to ask him. And he was like, man, you came prepared. Yeah, because we had been to all of these, I'm going to call them fly-by-night people that come to the hotels and, that type of thing. And it was not what we were looking for, but we kept searching. One thing that changed my whole perspective about real estate and actually getting serious about it was when my dad passed away. I'm from Louisiana, and my dad had passed away. He had a house, and at that time, he was married to my stepmother. My mom passed away several years ago. But after he passed away, I realized it came to the realization that they were behind so much in their mortgage payments. And it was like at that particular time, this was before we had the community, I didn't know what to do. And I didn't know what to do with the house. And I had talked to a lawyer, a friend of the family lawyer. And basically my main question was, if I let this house go into foreclosure, will that affect me? Will that affect my brothers and sisters? And he basically told me no. And so, but I didn't know what other questions to ask at that time because I wasn't smart enough. I didn't have the knowledge, and I didn't know that there was other things that I could do. But my main concern at that point was, having something bad on my record that I had let a house go into foreclosure and things like that. But after that fact, the house did go in foreclosure, and then I learned that an investor purchased the house, and they made about maybe $30,000-$40,000 off of it after they fixed it up. And so when Keith and I found the community, that one morning in bed, we was just like, let's just go. We took our whole family up to where Mayor was speaking. Literally, we got our boys up and we went, and we sat there, and like he said, we just like what we heard. But I thank God just for the community and the education, because we have learned so much since then. And I kind of kicked myself in the butt, because I didn't know what to do with my dad's house. So it's like the thorn in my side, but I think about that and I'm like, I don't want that to ever happen to any of my family members again. Like I want to at least, if they don't want to get the education themselves, at least I want to be able to point them in the right direction or something. I want to be able to be a service to other people. Of course, I want them to have the knowledge themselves, but that's one thing that really turned my attention really to real estate investing, because I actually tried I was a real estate agent at one time, of thinking that a real estate agent would teach me how to be an investor. And that was not true at all. All it taught me was how to sell a house at retail price, but it didn't teach me anything about investing. So when we found the community, it just really changed our lives, because we've did so many deals since then now. So that's my story.
No, that's a great story. What a great way to share leading into this property tour today. It's just really neat to let folks learn a little bit about you and Keith. And because there's probably people right now that potentially are on our Zoom tour that we're in the same place you guys were at. Maybe getting ready to retire, maybe thinking about real estate, not knowing where to go. Maybe they've checked out some of these weekend type boot camps, and they just didn't like that. It didn't feel good to them. And the biggest piece of the puzzle for me, and I think it will be very similar to you guys, was the community. And that was one of the largest pieces to me that really kind of put it all together, and why the decision to get involved in the community was kind of a no-brainer for me. And so we've got people on today that I'm sure both Keith and Leafay, you guys have resonated with. And so let's talk a little bit about this deal. We got Leafay on site at the property. We've got Keith, he's got some pictures and some things to share with us on the before side. So do you guys which one wants to kind of take the lead, talk about how you found the property, how you analyzed the property, how you came up with the funding, those kind of things.
Yeah, so I go ahead and jump on that, Scott. So so one of the things that we kind of get drilled in, through the community, and is not to buy retail. And so we found this deal through a wholesaler. They were posted on Facebook. I wanted to vet it that it was really true. I saw it, quickly asked questions, and I just started running numbers as quickly as I could. Once I started running the numbers, I was like, whoa, this looked really promising if this is true. So ended up connecting with the wholesaler, and tell them, hey, I'll be right down there that weekend. So Leafay and I, we drove down there, looked at the property. While we was on site, just like the class teaches us, we did exactly what we were supposed to do, down to even like the class that talked about how to negotiate, how to look at a property, how a wholesaler thinks. So I understood what he was thinking about. We went through all of those things. And as we was walking through the property, we realized, okay, I pretty much negotiated. It says, hey, if you really want to go ahead and lock up this deal right now before I go back, here's my price. And I kind of edged them to say, hey, talk to the owner. And by the way, the owner was there too. So we went and talked to the owner, came back, and we got our deal. Signed the paperwork right there on the hood of my truck, and drove right back up there, back up to where we live. It was just like that. But it went through fast, but it was the preparation, everything that we prepared in order to able to execute that deal, which made things so sweet.
So,
So I do have
this property is a fix and hold. And
yes.
you guys are
That
going
means
to
you
hold
fixing
it.
the house, rent it
Hold
out.
on, somebody's not muted.
Yeah, if everybody could stay on mute, I appreciate that, guys. Let's see. Could I have help from my admin team? I've got some other folks on right now.
There we go. We should be good now.
Are we good? There we go. Okay. Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. It's out of respect for everybody else. If we could keep everybody on mute, that would be great. So how did you learn and how did you analyze the deal? Because you obviously found that there were repairs needed. The wholesaler was there, the owner was there, you and Leafay were there, and you brought your boys. Did you bring your boys with you? Just the two of you?
On this one, I think it was just Leafay and I at this time.
Okay, so how did you determine, because this is a big thing that a lot of people get stuck, they get really held up on, is determining what type of repairs, what kind of money needs to be put into it to be able to come to that ask price, the actual offer price that is. How did you guys do that, and how did you learn how to do that?
And that's what so that was through the education. So we looked at the fix and flip class. The fix and flip told us, what we can do. Plus we did research on the area, the neighborhood. Because we kind of had a general idea of the area and the neighborhood, and we did research on that too, which the classes also shows how to do that. We was able to come up with a really strong number of what we expect. Now, one of the things that the class also teaches us is there's kind of two things that you're looking for. You're looking for the real estate for equity, or you're looking for it for cash flow. And so Leafay and I, we kind of have our own little board, and we kind of go back and forth with each other, which is awesome. She's like really good at this. So we went back and forth, and that's why we said, well, we'll do a fix and hold. We'll fix up, but we'll hold it because of the cash flow. Yes, could we have sold it? The answer is yes. Could have done it really quickly, but we decided to hold it because what our why was is to be able to pass things down to our kids, right? And so we wanted to create generational wealth, and the way we have this setting up is so that way it can be passed down for generations. And so that's where we wanted to go with that.
That's awesome. Very, very good. So you want to go ahead and bring out a few pictures, or you want
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
Just let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we see your screen, the before pictures. That's awesome.
All right, so this is the outside. As you can see, the front exterior. And if you wanted to say something, you can. But so these are all the before. So this is the entry. This is go ahead.
I was about to say, if you go back to the before, I just wanted to say about just the outside of the building. So I don't know if you guys can see the air conditioner in the window, the rusted burglar bars and everything, all the, because I'm going to show you what we did afterwards. So I just want to point out the different things that we did, all the dead flowers and stuff that's in the little garden there. Go ahead.
And things that we did not do on purpose. And one of the things we just tell you right front, we did not change the exterior except for certain things, because we wanted to make sure the house stays in the same environment, because it's a townhouse connected with others, if that makes sense. We have a longer strategy, and that's the longer strategy, is to buy up the rest of them, and then we'll change all the exteriors. But we just want to make sure that our renters will feel comfortable, but the inside is awesome. So you'll see. All right, so just to quickly move through. All right, so there go the entryway. So that's now you stand at the front door, you have the steps to the left, you see the carpet there, you see the flooring, You see
Now, one thing I want to say about this carpet, I believe, had been in the house since the house was built. This was like 20-year-old carpet. So it was very dingy. You would not have kept this in here.
Yeah, you couldn't just clean it. So this is the old lights, switches, and you can see the wallpaper right there above the shower. So this is the half bath at the entryway. That's where also the laundry will go, the washer and dryer.
I remember those pink toilet lids. They were really popular back then.
You know, I thought about holding it, but I said, nah, Scott doesn't want that anymore. So there go the kitchen. Now, one thing about the kitchen real quick, you really probably can't tell by the picture, but the microwave is too low.
It's very low.
So when you're cooking, anything that splatter will be on your microwave.
And it's not the code at all.
And it's not the code. And there go the other side of the kitchen. So again, the appliance has been there for a very long time. Everything's been there for a very long time. Here's the living room. Again, the same type of carpet. Here's from the other side. Here's the upstairs. This is so somebody probably asking, what is it? This is a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath townhouse. Very popular in the area. Here's the full bathroom upstairs. Pretty, isn't it? You see that there's stains up in the ceiling. You see the wallpaper all the way around. Here's one of the bedrooms here. This is also the same room from a different angle. And by the way, even though the carpet has been there for a very long time, it was very plush. I mean, it was super thick carpet.
It has some nice padding underneath though. That I will give it to you.
And what you probably don't see in the door right above on the left-hand side at the corner, there's a crack. So were we concerned about it? We looked at it, a GC looked at it and he says, no, you're good. He can take care of that. Here's the other bedroom. Now, the other story behind this, Scott, that I forgot to mention is it was the reason why the seller sold the house. One of the reasons is the seller, she was actually a nice lady. She was moving into a living assistance location. And the most important thing for her was to not have to worry about this house because she still had a mortgage. Even though she lived there for 40 years, she still had a mortgage and she just wanted to move. And so what we did was we took that burden away from her. At the same time, she needed time to stay in the house a little bit so that way she can get her belongings and move into the other place. So we were very flexible with her so that way that she can do that. And so we met her timeline. Everything was on point and she was happy. We found some articles and stuff that she still left in the house. Leafay took it over to her. She was very appreciative and people in the neighborhood like us. And here's the outside. And then this is the shed that was in the back, like for a storage area. And I think that's the last one. And there we go. So I'll stop sharing.
So that's really awesome that you guys were able to help her out. And that's, as a real estate investor, we're constantly solving issues. We're constantly coming up with solutions. And I've heard since I got involved in this community, I continue to hear transactional engineer, things like that. But as a real estate investor, we're looking for motivated sellers. We're looking for distressed properties. And it's always about the numbers, right, Keith Leafay? The numbers have to work. And your strategy was to continue to add to your portfolio and to build equity long-term and continue to have cash flow. So it's just very inspiring that you were able to help her out. It's very cool. Leafay, a lot of folks might go in and start repairing the property, find belongings and just throw them away. You found some stuff that you thought would matter to her, and you took them to her. That's really cool.
Yeah, there were things like pictures and certificates, things that would be memorabilia to anybody else. So I was like, this is probably something she wants to keep. Let me get in touch with her. So yeah.
That's awesome, guys. That's awesome. So, when did you put this under contract? What was your plan as far as the repairs that you wanted to get done with the property before you put on market? What kind of time frame were you looking at?
Well, all right, here's the funny part, Scott. So the time frame was Leafay was officially retiring in May. So we in June, and in May. It's also her birthday month. And so we would sit down going over our numbers, and she said, well, Keith, in order for us to meet our numbers, we have to, buy X amount of houses, every, quarter, a year, in order for it to meet our numbers that we set out that we was going to do. That would be a really nice birthday gift and a retirement gift. So I'm scrounging all over the place looking, and then we was blessed to come across this deal. So to be honest with it was a pressure of her retiring gift and her birthday gift in the same month. That kind of like was the push, that kind of go forward on this property.
Yeah, and as far as my birthday, I was actually down here on my birthday for our first day of renovations.
That's awesome. That's awesome, guys. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, so what was your time frame on finishing the repairs? You put it under contract. What were you thinking? How long?
So we thought about, we did 3 weeks. And the reason why we said 3 weeks, first we had to wait for the close. She needed some more time because it took her a little bit longer to move her stuff out. So it was almost really towards the end of May, which the 25th is when we was actually be able to get in there. So we scheduled about 3 weeks. We didn't, to keep costs down, we wasn't expecting any weekend work. Plus you had Memorial Day holiday right around the corner. So we, worked with the general contractor. He understood our timeline. And so we figured about 3 weeks to be able to get everything wrapped up. And we was okay with that.
That's awesome. Now, Gary asked about how you found this deal. You mentioned that earlier. Was that on Facebook?
It was on Facebook.
It was on Facebook. And that's a great tool like Craigslist. And there's so many other type of websites like that. But so you found it on Facebook. You got it under contract. Your plan was 3 weeks. It's all kind of come together for you. Now, how did you determine what rent prices that you were gonna put this property at? How did you figure that out?
So we use multiple systems. We use our iOS, Rena's iOS system. We also use Rentometer, and we did some other database to be able to figure out what the rent is in that area. And plus, we knew a couple other people that can help out with understanding what the rent is in that area. We also had, and previously we sold a house. We did a fix and flip in a house that was in Richmond. It's not too far from there. And I reached out to the real estate agent just to double check our numbers, and we came about the same number. So that's when we knew we was locked.
That's awesome. So I do want to throw something in here real quick, if I could, Keith and Leafay, because I know we're about to go switch over to Leafay's camera, and we'll get to see what it looks like today. Just for folks that are on today, if you're a guest today and someone invited you, thought enough of you to invite you out for the property tour and to kind of check our community, check out the deals we're doing as a community, and you want to learn more about so many things, bullet points that Keith has addressed and Leafay has addressed, we, right after today's property tour, at like 5 minutes after the top of the hour we start, we actually have a business, kind of an introduction to our community, introduction to the education that Keith and Leafay keep, referring to. learn more about our community, our nationwide community, how we collaborate with each other, how we learn with each other, how we potentially do deals with each other. And so that's right after this Zoom tour. It starts about 5 minutes after the top of the hour. And so you want to get back to invited you so they can get you the link. It's a different Zoom link, and they'll get you all set up to attend that. And guys, it goes about, if I recall correct, Keith, it's about what, 90 minutes long?
Yes.
And guys, it'll peel back a lot of layers for you that we can't actually cover in this property tour. So please get back to invited you. We'll get you the link and you can plug into that. So Keith, Leafay, are you guys ready to take us on site?
All right, Zachary.
There you are.
Yes. All right. I'm gonna hand the thing to my son here. Okay.
Well, let's see your son first. I want to see your son.
Oh.
Man, look at you, dude.
Yes. This is
I
my
really-
son, Zachary.
Hi,
He's-
Zachary. I hear you're going to college.
I am at Drexel University in Philly.
Drexel, what a great university. What a great university. Well, thank you for coming out and helping your mom. And what do you think about what this is kind of what I'm about to do here. We haven't done on the property tour before. So been doing these for over 2 years, but I'd love to hear from Zachary. What do you think about what your mom and dad do with real estate? What do you think about that?
I think it's really great what they're doing. I can really I saw the before pictures and after pictures. I came up here a couple of times with them. I see how they changed the place. I can see how they communicate with all the neighbors on this block here and how they want to expand and grow this entire area. It's just great.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'm so glad you're there to help today. And I'm sure that you admire what your mom and dad are doing. And we're going to see the outside. Is that correct? I remember that Keith showed the before outside. Let's see what
Yes.
the new outside looks like.
Okay. All right. So can you see me? Is it right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can
we
see
can see.
that. We're good.
Okay. So basically, we got rid of all the shrubbery, but like Keith was saying, we don't want to change the aesthetics too much outside. We don't want to price ourselves out of the community. So we didn't do too much to the outside, but we did remove all the things. And then we had the contractor paint the burglar bars front and back and everything. And we also painted the door. It was a green. It was a green color. And I'm gonna remove this sticker up here after we finish today because I don't like it. So come on in. So basically, this is the half bath that we showed before with the pink toilet that was here. We didn't change too much in here. Everything, a lot of the things that we did in here is cosmetic. I went with the gray tone, the gray and white tones, because that seems to be the thing for the season, the gray and white. Painted the cabinets, the hardware and everything. If you would see throughout, we have, we changed the flooring to a gray floor. And this is a laminate wood waterproof flooring. So if anything happens to the flooring as far as spills and everything like that, it's easier, it's very hard to damage, first of all. So come this way. If you remember the kitchen had brown cabinets and everything, and that microwave, if you step back some maybe, that microwave, the original microwave was down to here. That's how far it was. And so we put in new appliances, and my contractor basically raised the microwave and made these cabinets smaller at the top. And so now we are at the right height to have a microwave range. Got a clean top counter, new appliances, like I said. As far as the cabinets, basically, I decided to just paint the facing of the cabinets just to brighten it up in here. And as you can see, it made it at least look bigger. there was an option to open this up right here, but after seeing some of the other townhouses in here, that would have been an expense that wasn't needed. And once again, don't want to price myself out of the market. Change the refrigerator. Now, the funny thing is, the owner of this townhouse said that her dishwasher was new. But when I looked in that dishwasher, I don't know what she did over the 20 years, but that was not a new dishwasher. But this is a new dishwasher. One of the things that we focused on in here is changing the electrical, because we consider doing Section 8, and we're still actually considering it, because right now we have like 3 potential tenants right now, but we did decide to upgrade the electrical, because if we went that route, Section 8 has certain standards that you have to meet, and that's one of them. We also changed the lighting in here. And if you walk with me to the living room, if you could kind of go to the living room. What we did in here, what we did in here was we had a recessed lighting in here, because there was absolutely no lighting. So you had to use like a floor lamp in the electrical sockets for the lights over here. And everybody the neighbors, of course, has come to see what we've done here. And they're like, oh, can you do this to mine? Can you do this to mine, type of thing? Because they definitely love the recessed light. The flooring is the same throughout. We installed new blinds throughout, because the old blinds were at least not to standard anyway, at least not to my standard. So we're gonna go upstairs.
Everything looks so bright, and it's kind of opened it, made it a lot larger too, but just by changing the color scheme.
Yes, and so right here, I decided, of course, I didn't want carpet anywhere, because as you know, with a rental, at least for me anyway, you try to stay away from carpet, because you don't want to have to change carpet out every 5 years or so. But it's much easier to deal with flooring because of spills and pets and things like that. And so I decided to paint the stairs a darker brown, just to add to the aesthetics of the place with the gray tones. So come on upstairs.
Yeah, darker gray. Yep.
So basically, we just gone into the first bedroom. Here, it's a typical bedroom. We did change all the ceiling fans, because the ceiling fans that they had throughout the house, they were like very large ceiling fans, and they like overpowered the room. And they were also brown. And so obviously keeping brown wasn't gonna work anyway. So we changed it to a smaller ceiling fan and white to go with the color scheme. The doors in all the rooms was falling off, so we did put on new doors and painted the inside and everything there. The blinds, I love these type of blinds. These are the type of blinds when you hold them from the bottom and you lift them up. And so it's not the ones that I love these types. And you just pull the blinds down like that. So that was a nice feature. This is the updated bathroom. This bathroom had pink wallpaper throughout the entire bathroom. So a lot of things that we did was cosmetic. We did change this entire vanity out. But a lot of things we kept the same, like the mirror and the cabinets here, just to save costs.
Because the plumbing, remember?
The what?
The plumbing.
Oh yes, there was not a drain in the tub, And this drain, not just in this one, but in all, it seemed like it's a consistent thing throughout the different townhouses. They seem to have the same plumbing issue. And so in order to combat that, my contractor put in a drain to stop it from going down, obviously, to the first floor. Because the other townhouses that we saw has that same issue where the water would leak down to the first floor. So we fixed that. And once again, just another bedroom. Same, nothing changed, but we took the air conditioner, the air conditioner, the window air unit out and changed the beds. Here you got new vents throughout, and this room had like 2 lamps that was on the wall on that side, and that side got taken down. And this room also was all wallpaper. So if you ever took down wallpaper, especially from the old days, that type of wallpaper, it was a lot of work just to get that wallpaper off the wall.
Yes, it is.
So pretty much that's it, as far as this unit. I could take you to the back shed. He did do the back shed.
We may lose reception, but that's okay.
What's the reception?
Yeah, we may lose reception, so you don't have to go to the back shed.
Oh, okay.
But he did fix the shed. He took care of the molding.
Another thing that we did that was important, if you could show this, the key locks. The key locks, we changed all the key locks to be consistent with the doors, because if I'm from Louisiana, I know I grew up with burglar bars. In some areas you have burglar bars. Everybody around here have burglar bars, depending on the area that you live in. But if you ever live with burglar bars, you don't want to get locked in your own house, obviously. And so it's important that the keys match. So we literally had to change out all the keys to match, because we wanted one key to be able to open up all doors, which is a safety concern for us.
Yeah. So why don't you walk towards the back door and kind of show the backyard from the house? Can you do that through a window? Yeah, from the sliding door. You guys have done a really great job of controlling the costs. I can't wait to see the numbers here in a minute or two, but it's just so, you've brightened everything up. It's so desirable. I mean, if I was looking for a rental property, or one of my family, I mean, I would love to see them move into a property like that. You guys have done a great job.
Now this shed had a lot of mold in it that my contractor fixed, as far as getting rid of the mold. And as you can see, the burglar bars are painted and everything here. This fence was falling down. We had to put up just re-nail the fence again. That's pretty much the back of it. We're gonna go inside because it's hot out here.
Absolutely. So again, guys, you've done a great job. I mean, the color scheme, we've had a lot of great comments about how great it
That's
looks.
the real challenge. Every time I'm doing it, like
Hello?
it's like he's done. He's like,
Somebody's off mute.
right? Why are you doing
Guys, you're
Okay,
muted.
I'm back off mute. Keith, Leafay, if you guys
Yep.
want to come off, that's great.
Yep, we're here.
Well, great. So again, I just wanted to compliment you guys. You guys did a great job. Really just the colors, cleaning the place up. I gotta imagine, and maybe you'll talk a little bit about this. Anybody coming to look at this house to rent this property, they're gonna fall in love with it. It looks all new and clean, and it's very usable. So Keith, you want to go ahead and share your screen, as we're about quarter till the hour here. We want to maybe, there you go. I see some numbers there, 1 through 9, or 0 through 9. So let's talk numbers. Go ahead, Keith.
All right. And also you saw that, the doors and everything, handles, everything was updated. So again, let's talk about numbers on the left-hand side. So we purchased it at 75. Again, that's down from what the original price was. With the renovation, with the plumbing, electrical, and I think someone's off mute. All of that came into a total of like 98. With a private investor involved in here, supporting our company. So we pay a 5% flat fee for a year. So we pay out about $409 a month, actually starting this month. And then taxes and insurance is $145 a month. And so the ARV is around 135,000, right? So yes, we could have went and flipped this thing and be done with it. But again, we went back to our why and our strategy that we kind of set down. For our long-term strategy, you see the rent is there. Yes, rent prices have gone up. We priced it, we talked with folks and people. Matter of fact, Leafay already went down there 2 days ago showing it, and she has people after today, after we get off the Zoom, she has some more showings with people ready to go ahead and move in 1 July, which is next month. So with the taxes, insurance, and investors, our cash flow is around $696 a month, and within 1 year, that generates around $8,000, and within 5 years, that's $41,000, which is why we wanted to do the long-term strategy. That's really what it gets down to, the numbers. And so our goal is to do more of these, but those are the numbers. When we looked at the numbers, it just made sense to us just to go ahead and do this.
Again, your strategy, like many investor strategies, including myself, is to continue to build a portfolio of rental properties, not only having equity and building that equity, but also having that monthly cash flow. And some folks, Keith and Leafay, because I've seen this happen many, many times. They see the big number of $30-some thousand if they go ahead and flip the property. Okay, and they start doing the math, and they're going, okay, it's going to take me 4.5 years to make that kind of money in rent, where I can just do it right now and flip it. And you want to talk a little bit about the difference in the strategies and why, for you guys, it was so important to focus on that cash flow?
You want to take that one, Leafay?
Yes, sure. It's important for us to leave a legacy for our boys. And one of our goals is to have 20 rental properties generating cash flow, so that whenever it's time for us to leave this earth, one of our boys can get 10 and the other one can get 10. The goal is for them to generate about $20,000 in passive income. So in order to do this, we can't just continue to just flip houses, because that's just something that we have to do continuously over and over and over again, which is a good strategy. But for long-term generational wealth for my grandchildren who aren't even here, it's better for us to keep these properties so that cash flow would consistently come in month after month after month, year after year after year. So they don't have to, because my grandkids may not want to flip houses. I don't know what they want to do, but they will still have this income coming in. So, and we have some other things that we do also that generates income too, like short-term rentals. And I do fix and flips, and I have done them in the past. But right now, our immediate strategy is to get more buy and holds to accomplish our long-term goal.
And plus, it's kind of recession-proof too, right? So people need a place to stay, right? And so the investor looked at it that way also. Instead of keeping the money in the bank at the time, making point something, he could make 5%. in a secure, area, backing because, they know us and stuff like that. It was a no-brainer. And so I'm appreciative of that, right? And entrusting for us to do that. And it creates a win-win. And one of the things that, the education that really kind of drives home is this is teachable, this is learnable, right? And in order for that generational wealth to happen, it starts with us now, right? I can't pass it on hoping that somebody else will pick it up. But if I'm learning it and then we doing it, like in the past, if I don't know something and I learn how to do it, then I can do it. And then I can make it better. I can pass that on also to my kids. So my kids are now watching us do this. So we're not talking about it, we're doing it. And so now they have something that they can step on, not just our military background and leadership, but now they can see something tangible, something doable. Then they just learn how to do it themselves. And then it just keeps passing on and on. And it was just a no-brainer for us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, one of the things you've referred to and talked about a couple times is you've got a private lender. I saw a couple comments in regards to looking for private lenders. How did you guys learn to have a conversation and build a relationship with someone to have them as your private lender? How did you learn all about that? Because that's one of the things, Keith, Leafay, I'm sure you guys, everywhere you go in your life, you probably talk to people like I do, and I tell them what I do. And you know what the general response is, Keith? Oh, I've always wanted to do real estate investing. I don't know where to get started, or if I just had more money, I would do real estate. I'm
Right.
sure you've heard the same things, right?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was probably one of them. That's it. I was that guy 20 years ago saying the exact same thing. It really gets down to just educating yourself, right? So I'm as much as we say at this age, man, I don't want to learn anything else. Oh my gosh, I've been here, I've been there. They're not going to teach me anything new. If you have that mindset, you're right. You won't learn anything new. But why do you want to do real estate investment? Is your why strong enough to get you past that hurdle of, oh gosh, I got to learn something new? Once you get past that and you realize, wait a minute, and coming to these type of property tours, again, Scott, you just don't know how much you've been a lifesaver, because when the pandemic hit, I went to a live property tour, and when the pandemic hit, people was like, oh, I can't do anything else. You kept this thing going, and it's showing proof that yes, you can still do this during the pandemic. It's doable, it's repeatable. You just got to learn and connect. Okay, so then how do we connect with people? First, you just got to be real, right? You have to be a real person, right? And just be transparent. And when you learn how to ask certain questions, like Leafay had said, she talked to a lawyer, and but the question she asked was, is this going to affect me? The questions that we didn't ask is, what can we do about it? Versus trying to stay away from it. And so we wasn't able to ask those type of questions. And if we would have, we don't know if he would have, answered it. But the point is, we looked at it from let me stay away from it. Let me, protect me, versus how can we make it for our better during that worst time, if that makes sense. And as a husband, I felt bad. So I said, you know what? When we got together and said, hey, let's learn, let's get past that fear so we can capitalize on something, then we just took off, because that fear is going to be everywhere. The question is, what you're going to do about
Yeah.
Leafay, did you want to add to that?
No, Keith pretty much said it all. No.
Well, that's awesome, guys. Well, we're getting toward the top of the hour here. I know there were some additional questions. Did you guys do any hands-on work on this property yourselves?
Well, I got in here and I cleaned out the place. Like, she had a lot of stuff in the attic. We took down the ceiling fans, and I did a lot of what I consider minor work, like pulling up the carpet. I helped to pull up the carpets and things like that, and put everything in the dumpster. That's because that's me. The general contractor is paid to do all of that, but I wanted to get my hands dirty too. Because that's me.
Hey, Scott, just like the kid said, look, mom, no hands. I didn't do anything. I just signed the paperwork.
Yeah, I see how you are, Keith. So one last question here, and also, I want to get guys to get some feedback on the numbers you shared with folks. Did you guys have to put any of your own funds in on this deal?
Well, we had to go just to secure it. We had to put in an EMD.
Okay,
But other than that,
money deposit? Yes, yeah, deposit. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Besides that, your private lender was able enough to cover your acquisition and your
Yeah.
rehab. Is that correct?
Yes. Correct.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, guys, as we wrap up and before everybody jumps off, I'd love to end today. We've got people on today, Keith, that just got started with our community and maybe have never done a deal before, or maybe they're just checking us out for the first time or second time, learning more about who we are and what we do and how we collaborate with each other and learn with each other and build our knowledge and our relationship. What could be something, and I'll leave Leafay for last. Keith, what would you recommend, or what would be that thing or that statement or some kind of feedback or advice you'd give folks that are on today to get started?
If you put it off tomorrow moves. So you might as well just go ahead and get started today. I kept putting it off to tomorrow, and then 20 something years later, I realized it's not 1997 anymore. And if I wanted to do something, I need to go ahead and make that change. If I want to make that change in my family and for generations to come, it starts with me. And so that's what we decided to do.
But it all started with you guys taking action that one morning, jumping out of bed, saying, let's go to this meeting. Let's go check this out. Let's go with an open mind and be coachable and teachable. I'm sure you were very similar to me. I'm like, okay, let me hear what it is. Let me hear what you guys are doing. And you guys took action. And so very inspiring. I appreciate that thought there, or that message, Keith. What about you, Leafay? To kind of wrap us up here, we got a couple minutes. How would you like to leave everybody today? Again, the folks who are on today that have never done a deal, or maybe who are a guest who are thinking about getting started.
All I can say is, we've heard the term before, knowledge is power. But knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that's power. You have to take action. You can sit there and listen to your classes and read books all day, but until you actually get out there and do something, it's not going to happen. I mean, make the phone calls, knock on doors, search the Craigslist, call people. The deals are out there. The classes teaches you how to create deals when there's no deals. When there's technically, people don't even know that they need to get out of situations or like foreclosures and short sales and things like that. People don't know that you can actually help them create a win-win situation to help them avoid foreclosure. So once again, going back to my dad's house, if I would have known that I could have did a short sale or something like that back then, or just done something different, that house would still be in my family today, and it's not. And I hate that. But that's not going to happen again. My family will learn real estate, and my boys, they get mad at us sometimes, but we make them sit down and listen to the classes and kind of give us their notes on what they got out of the classes. And one of the things that my son said one day that really made us realize that he got it. He said something to the fact of like, oh, Dad, now I see why you're not going to go buy that Tesla right now, because you want to buy the properties first to generate the cash flow to pay for that Tesla. And I was like, oh, yes, you got it. Yes.
Well, Leafay, Keith, this has been an incredible property tour. You guys have shared so much of yourselves and your deal and your family. I'm just so inspired to be on today, listening to you guys, and I'm just glad I'm connected to a group of investors that you're a part of, and I'm just blessed. I really am. And so, guys, everybody on today, we're going to wrap this up. If you'd like to plug in right now, getting started in just a couple minutes, if you'd like to plug in on a different link and learn more about what Leafay and Keith and I have talked about today, and you're gonna be able to do that. Get back to who invited you. They'll get you the link, and you can plug in. Next Saturday, we'll be right back here at 11 a.m. Eastern. We're going to be coming to everybody from the great state of Tennessee, and so keep plugging in, guys. Get back with who invited you. There are other things you guys could plug into and learn and check us out about. So for that, I'd like to sign off. Keith, Leafay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for your service to our country and being great role models, and you're inspiring us every day. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.